Have you ever noticed that the sharpest pains often come from the people we love the most? A careless word from a stranger might roll right off our backs, but the same word from a partner, a parent, or a best friend can feel like a dagger to the heart. It's a strange and painful paradox, isn't it? Why do the people we hold closest have the greatest power to hurt us? Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind this universal experience. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about understanding the complex dynamics of love and relationships so we can navigate them with more wisdom and compassion. So, let's start with the most fundamental reason: expectations. With strangers or acquaintances, our expectations are generally low. We don't expect them to understand our deepest fears, celebrate our smallest victories, or remember our coffee order. But with our loved ones, it's a different story. We build a shared history, a world of inside jokes, and a deep understanding of each other. We invest so much emotionally. Because of this, we naturally develop high expectations. We expect them to be our biggest cheerleaders, our safest confidants, and our most loyal allies. We believe they know us better than anyone. So, when they act in a way that falls short of these expectations, when they misunderstand us, criticize us, or seem indifferent, the gap between what we expected and what we received feels like a massive chasm. This perceived betrayal of our unspoken contract is what hurts so deeply. It's not just the action itself, but the shattering of the image we held of them and of our relationship. Next up is the vulnerability factor. Love requires us to be vulnerable. To truly connect with someone, we have to lower our defenses. We share our secrets, our insecurities, our dreams, the parts of ourselves we hide from the rest of the world. This act of opening up is what builds intimacy, but it's also what puts us at risk. We are essentially handing them a map to our most sensitive spots. We trust them not to use it against us. Most of the time, they don't. At least, not intentionally. But because they have this map, they can cause pain without even trying. They know exactly which buttons to press, which past wounds are still tender, and which fears keep us up at night. A thoughtless comment about an insecurity you confessed in a moment of trust can feel like a targeted attack, even if they didn't mean it that way. Their knowledge of us is a double-edged sword. It's the source of our deepest connection and our greatest potential for pain. Another key piece of this puzzle is what psychologists call projection. We all do it. Projection is when we unconsciously take our own feelings, insecurities, or unresolved issues and attribute them to someone else. In close relationships, this happens all the time. For example, if you're feeling insecure about your job, you might interpret your partner's simple question about your day as a judgment of your career. Their innocent inquiry is filtered through your own internal anxiety. Similarly, they might be projecting their own stress or fears onto you. Perhaps they had a terrible day at work, and their short temper has nothing to do with you. But because you're the closest person to them, you become the unintended target of their frustration. It's a messy, unconscious exchange of emotional baggage, and it's a major reason why misunderstandings and hurt feelings are so common in loving relationships. We aren't just reacting to what the other person said or did. We're reacting to a complex mix of their actions and our own internal stuff. Let's not forget the power of proximity. The people we love are the ones we spend the most time with. We share a home, meals, vacations, and the mundane moments of daily life. This constant closeness means there are simply more opportunities for friction. Think about it. You can have a disagreement with someone you see once a year, as easily as you can with someone you share a bathroom with every morning. The sheer volume of interactions increases the statistical probability of conflict. Small annoyances, like leaving dishes in the sink or being late, can build up over time. This is what's known as the negative sentiment override. When small frustrations accumulate, we start to view everything our partner does through a negative lens. Their actions, even neutral or positive ones, get interpreted as further evidence of their flaws. It becomes a self-perpetuating cycle where minor issues escalate into major sources of hurt. There is also a concept known as attachment theory that sheds a lot of light on this. Our earliest relationships, usually with our parents, create a blueprint for how we connect with others later in life. This is our attachment style. If we had a secure attachment, we learned that love is safe and reliable. But if our early caregivers were inconsistent, critical, or distant, we might develop an anxious or avoidant attachment style. These styles can make us hypersensitive to rejection or cause us to push people away when they get too close. So, when a loved one hurts us, we're not just reacting to the present moment. We're often re-experiencing old wounds from our past. A partner's emotional distance might trigger deep-seated fears of abandonment that have been with us since childhood. The pain feels disproportionately large because it's amplified by a lifetime of similar, unresolved feelings. Our loved ones become actors on a stage that was built long before we met them. So, knowing all this, what can we do? How do we protect our hearts without building walls so high that love can't get in? The first step is communication, but not just any communication. We need to practice what's called nonviolent communication. This means expressing our feelings and needs without blame or criticism. Instead of saying, "You always ignore me when I'm talking," you could try, "When I'm sharing something important and I see you on your phone, I feel hurt and unimportant, because connecting with you matters to me." See the difference? You're focusing on your own feelings and needs, which invites empathy rather than defensiveness. It turns a potential fight into an opportunity for connection and understanding. Self-awareness is equally crucial. We need to get curious about our own reactions. When you feel hurt, take a moment before you react. Ask yourself, what's really going on here? Is this about what they just did? Or is this triggering an old wound? What expectation of mine wasn't met? By understanding our own triggers and projections, we can take responsibility for our emotions. This doesn't mean excusing the other person's behavior, but it does mean we stop giving them all the power over our happiness. We recognize that our feelings are ours, and while they can be influenced by others, we are ultimately in charge of how we respond. Cultivating empathy is the final, and perhaps most important, piece of the puzzle. Try to put yourself in your loved one's shoes. Remember that they, too, are human. They have their own insecurities, their own past wounds, and their own projections. Their hurtful actions often come from a place of their own pain, stress, or misunderstanding, not from a malicious desire to hurt you. When we can see their behavior through a lens of compassion, it softens the blow. It allows us to approach conflict with a desire to understand rather than a desire to win. We can ask questions like, "It seems like you're really stressed today. What's on your mind?" This opens the door for them to share their own struggles, which often explains the behavior that hurts you. The people we love hurt us the most because they matter the most. The stakes are higher, our hearts are more open, and our lives are deeply intertwined. But this same connection that creates the potential for pain is also the source of our greatest joy, support, and growth. By understanding the psychology behind the hurt, communicating with compassion, and practicing self-awareness, we can navigate these difficult moments and build even stronger, more resilient relationships. The goal isn't to avoid getting hurt. That's impossible. The goal is to learn how to heal, both together and as individuals. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like and share it with someone you think might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on psychology and relationships. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.